Hey, what's going on? A little Butchie's Den long form here. We're going to talk about the college basketball indictment of 26 players. Now, why does this matter? Now, I think college basketball is in good shape. This isn't the first time there's been a scandal, whether it's been at Tulane or whether it's been at Arizona State. Like this, we've seen in college basketball. The number surprised me. Yes, I think 26 players is a lot. But as I read this and I said, okay, the number was, as far as dollars, were anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000. And you look in general at, the schools. The biggest school was DePaul, that was mentioned in this. But a lot of them were smaller schools. So I understand how at times when you give a kid that's not making a lot of money that chance to make $30,000, that it's going to be enticing. Now, that's where players' morals need to come in, and you realize, hey, this isn't something that, number one, I need to be a part of, or number two, it's going to hurt the integrity of the game. Those are all things that players, you can't do that. So have I ever been, approached? No, I never was approached. Never did I ever think that this was ever going to come up in my world. It just wasn't anything that had ever been brought up to me or, ever. So thankfully, I never had to worry about this or even be approached this. I also think people probably realized I wasn't the right guy to ask. Probably wasn't good enough to fix any games. That being said, the interesting part to me was where this initially started. And it started in the CBA, in the Chinese Basketball Association. Now, the reason it caught my eyes, because I played overseas in China. For about 6 weeks I was there. And there was a player by the name of Antonio Blakeney. Now, Antonio Blakeney, I coached against when I coached the G League for 2 years. He played for the Windy City Bulls. This guy was a bucket getter. I mean, you talk about go score the basketball, he was going to do that. So a perfect fit for the Chinese Basketball Association. They want to get players that can score a bunch of baskets and make sure they can put on a lot of highlights. That's exactly what it was. Now, as I was reading the story, the team name of the Jiangsu Dragons came up. Now, that was a team that I played for. And it got me thinking back as we approached, and I was there, like I said, for about 6 weeks. But our first game, and my first professional game ever that I played in, was there. Now, I had double-double. I think I had like 18 points and 10 rebounds. But it wasn't nearly good enough as far as what the expectations were as far as, a Chinese basketball player, especially as an import. As an import, you were supposed to go get 40 and 20, and that was the expectation. So for me, I didn't think I played bad coming from Wisconsin. Hey, 18 and 12, great game. But as I got to the locker room and kind of saw everything, I realized that probably isn't the expectations of what that was. However, before we even played the game, there was this weird vibe around the game. And the Chinese players were like, well, we're never going to win this one. My coach, Jason Robdo, who passed away, was an assistant at Marquette, was at UTEP, kind of had the weird look to him. And Danielle Harvey from Florida was there. And he was my other American. And he had this look like it wasn't going to go our way. And it was just a very, very weird vibe. Now, call me naive, call me young, whatever, but I'm like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. We're going to find a way to win. We were on the road. It was opening night of the CBA. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of TV cameras, a lot of attention. And by the time the game ended, there was the vibe of like something that wasn't adding up. Now, as of my time in China was there, and I looked at it and I approached it, I realized there was a lot of things that probably weren't up. But I just said something wasn't right. Now, after this game, this is also the game where there was a plane ticket on my bed. The team went one way, and I went the other way back to Jiangsu as they realized they were going to release me. So as I look back at all of it, and I look at how this goes back to where this first started in the Chinese Basketball League and how the approach was and now how it's trickled into college basketball, I just kind of chuckle a little bit knowing how it really was played and how there probably was a little bit of corruption that happened that night as it was my first professional game. I went back to Jiangsu and went, and got paid, and had to go through a back hotel alleyway to get my money, and then had to wire it back Western Union, and all of it was just a little different. That being said, after reading this and obviously having the 26 people involved and having it affect college basketball, I just think in general now there needs to be a way to make sure that we are really aware of all of those things. And I think there's stuff in place, but it just got to become more aware, because the biggest thing is the integrity of the game. You've got to make sure you keep it. So you have to make sure there's guardrails to make sure that this doesn't happen again. It's happened throughout, but you have to make sure that you create an opportunity here so it doesn't happen again. Hard to do, but it's what must happen.